Have you ever stopped to think that maybe you don't fit into the traditional work model? That feeling that your soul is crying out for something deeper, something that goes beyond the daily routine and the functions that society expects of you. If you felt this way, know that you are not alone. This discomfort you feel is not a sign of weakness or error. In fact, it is a powerful indication that you have been chosen for a greater purpose. God has a special plan for each of us. He created us with unique skills and passions that cannot be limited by the expectations of the world. Often, the system we live in seems to not understand or value what we truly are. It's as if we are trying to fit into a mold that was not made for us, and that is normal. This feeling of not belonging is, in fact, a divine calling. It is an invitation for you to seek something more meaningful and authentic. Today, let's explore together how this calling relates to your spiritual awakening and the purpose that God has for your life. Each step of this journey will be guided by biblical teachings that remind us that we were made to shine, even in a world that often tries to extinguish our light. Remember that you are not here just to survive, but to live fully, to make a difference, and to impact the lives of those around you. It is time to recognize that this restlessness you feel is God working in you, shaping your heart and mind for something extraordinary. Before we continue, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, take the opportunity to do so now. This way, you won't miss any message that can transform your life. Let's embark on this journey of discovery and growth together. Modern life often presents us with a well-defined script. Study, get a job, work until retirement, and finally enjoy the last years of life. This is the path that society teaches us to follow, and many end up conforming to this narrative. However, for those who have been chosen by God, this trajectory may feel unsatisfactory and even suffocating. If you feel this way, know that it is a sign that your soul longs for something deeper and more meaningful. The Bible teaches us in Romans 12:2, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." This passage invites us to reflect on the importance of not conforming to the expectations and norms that surround us. The world may pressure us to follow a path that seems safe and predictable, but God calls us to a transformation that goes beyond what is common. He invites us to renew our minds, rethink our priorities, and seek a purpose that resonates with the essence of who we are. When we talk about transformation, we are not referring to a superficial change or a simple adaptation to what is around us. It is about a deep transformation that begins within us. It is a process that involves questioning what we really want from life and what God desires for us. This journey can be challenging, as we often encounter internal and external resistance. The fear of the unknown and social pressure can make us hesitate, but it is at this moment that we need to remember that we have been called to something greater. The feeling of disconnection that many experience is, in fact, a sign that their souls do not conform to the pattern of this world. This restlessness is an invitation for you to seek the renewal of your mind. Ask yourself, what truly makes me happy? What does God want me to do with my life? These questions are fundamental to starting the transformation process. By seeking answers, you begin to align your thoughts and actions with the plans that God has for you. It is important to understand that this transformation does not happen overnight. It is a continuous process that requires patience and dedication. Sometimes you may feel lost or directionless, but remember that God is always by your side, guiding your steps. He uses the experiences of life, both good and challenging, to shape your character and strengthen your faith. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow and draw closer to the purpose He has for you. While many adjust to what is expected, you are called to question and seek. This means you must be willing to step out of your comfort zone and explore new possibilities. Do not be afraid to dream big and pursue what truly makes your heart sing. God has placed unique talents and passions within you, and it is your responsibility to discover how to use them to glorify Him and serve others. Transformation also involves renewing our relationships. Sometimes we need to distance ourselves from negative influences that pull us down and surround ourselves with people who inspire us and encourage us to grow. Seek communities that share your faith and are committed to living according to God's principles. Together, you can support each other on your journeys and celebrate each other's victories. Furthermore, transformation requires a daily commitment to prayer and reading the Word of God. These moments of connection with the Lord are essential for us to hear His voice and better understand His plans for us. By dedicating ourselves to this practice, our minds are renewed, and we begin to see the world through a divine perspective. This helps us discern what is truly important and make decisions that align with the purpose God has for our lives. Finally, remember that transformation is a powerful testimony. When you live according to God's calling and refuse to conform to the pattern of this world, you become an example for others. Your life can inspire those around you to also seek transformation and renewal. You can be the light that shines in the darkness, showing that it is possible to live fully and meaningfully, even in a world that often tries to divert us from our true purpose. Therefore, embrace this journey of transformation. Do not be afraid to step away from what is common and seek what is extraordinary. God is shaping you for something greater, and every step you take toward this transformation is a step closer to fulfilling the purpose He has for your life. Remember, you were called to transform, not to conform. Have you ever found yourself questioning the meaning of your routine? That feeling that something is missing, that life could be more than just fulfilling daily obligations? If you have felt this way, know that it is not a coincidence. This restlessness that arises in your heart is, in fact, a divine calling. God is communicating with you, inviting you to explore a greater purpose for your life. The Bible teaches us in Proverbs 3:5, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding." This passage reminds us of the importance of trusting in God, even when we cannot see the way ahead. Often our minds try to convince us that we must follow a certain path, based on our experiences or what society expects of us. However, God calls us to go beyond what we can understand and to trust in His infinite wisdom. When your soul begins to question your routine, it is a sign that you are being awakened to something deeper. You may ask yourself, why am I here? What really matters in my life? These questions are essential for your spiritual growth. They indicate that God is working in you, shaping your heart and mind so that you can perceive the purpose He has for you. It is in this moment of restlessness that you should remember that God does not want you to live just to survive. He desires for you to discover the joy of living fully. This fullness does not come from following what is common or expected, but from embracing what is unique and special about you. God created you with a purpose, and this restlessness is an invitation for you to seek that purpose with all your heart. Trusting in God during this process can be challenging. Sometimes you may feel lost or unsure about which direction to take. It is normal to have doubts and fears, but it is important to remember that God is always by your side. He knows your heart and understands your concerns. When you surrender to Him, you allow Him to guide your steps and illuminate your path. The restlessness can be uncomfortable, but it is also an opportunity for growth. When you feel dissatisfied with your routine, It is a sign that your soul is crying out for change. This change may come in the form of new challenges, new opportunities, or even a new direction in life. Be open to these possibilities, and do not be afraid to explore what God is placing in your path. Sometimes, this journey may require you to step out of your comfort zone. It may be necessary to leave behind old habits, relationships, or even a job that is not aligned with what God has for you. This transition can be difficult, but remember that God is preparing something better for you. He desires for you to live a life full of purpose and meaning. Furthermore, it is essential that you seek God's guidance in prayer. Talk to Him about your restlessness and doubts. Ask Him to reveal what you need to know and to help you trust in His plan. Prayer is a powerful tool that connects us to God and allows us to hear His voice. As you dedicate yourself to this practice, your mind will be renewed, and you will begin to see things from a new perspective. Also, remember that you are not alone on this journey. Many people are also going through moments of restlessness and searching for purpose. Share your experiences with friends or in support groups that share the same faith. Together, you can encourage and support each other as you seek God's direction. Finally, be attentive to the small changes and signs that God places in your path. Sometimes, He speaks through circumstances, people, or even through His Word. Be open to hearing and following these guidances. When you allow yourself to be guided by God, the restlessness transforms into a journey of discovery and growth. The lives of the chosen are often marked by challenges that go beyond what we can see. The Bible reminds us in Ephesians 6:12 that our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the powers of this dark world. This means that, although we may face difficulties in our daily lives, such as a difficult boss, pressure at work, or fierce competition, these situations often have deeper spiritual roots. When you feel undervalued or overwhelmed, it is easy to think that the problems are merely practical or interpersonal issues. However, it is essential to recognize that there is a spiritual battle taking place around us. The forces that try to divert us from our purpose and make us feel inadequate are not just physical challenges, but also spiritual ones. This understanding helps us see beyond immediate circumstances and seek the true source of our strength. Putting on the armor of God is essential to face these invisible battles. The armor is not just a metaphor, it is a spiritual practice that protects and strengthens us. Faith, truth, and the Word of God are the tools that help us resist the enemy's attacks. When you feel weak or discouraged, remember that you can strengthen yourself through prayer and meditation on the Scriptures. These practices not only renew your mind, but also create a barrier against the negative influences that try to invade your life. Every battle you face is an opportunity for spiritual growth. Instead of seeing challenges as obstacles, begin to view them as steps that bring you closer to the purpose God has prepared for you. When you overcome a difficulty, you not only become stronger, but also draw closer to the person God wants you to be. This transformation is part of the process of becoming chosen, someone who shines in the midst of darkness. It is also important to remember that you are not alone in this struggle. God is always by your side, ready to give you support and guidance. When you feel lost or helpless, seek His presence. Prayer is a powerful way to connect with God and ask Him to give you the strength you need to face the battles that arise in your path. Do not hesitate to share your struggles with friends or members of your faith community. Together, you can support and encourage each other to stand firm. Additionally, be attentive to the small victories that happen along the way. Every time you resist the temptation to conform to what is negative or demotivating, you are winning a battle. Every step you take toward your purpose is an achievement that should be celebrated. These victories, no matter how small, are signs that you are moving forward and getting closer to what God has in store for you. The invisible battles can also manifest as doubts and insecurities. It is common to question whether you are capable of fulfilling the calling that God has placed in your heart. These doubts may be fueled by past experiences or by comparing yourself to others. However, it is crucial to remember that God did not call us to be perfect, but to be faithful. He knows your weaknesses and limitations, and yet He chose you for a special purpose. Therefore, as you face the invisible battles, keep your faith strong. Remember that you are chosen, and that means God is working in your life in ways you may not immediately perceive. Trust that every challenge is an opportunity for growth, and that, as you strengthen yourself in faith, you will become more capable of facing whatever comes your way. The struggle may be intense, but victory is certain for those who stand firm in their faith. God is by your side, and with Him, you can overcome any obstacle. Put on the armor of God, strengthen yourself in truth and in the Word, and move forward with courage toward the purpose He has prepared for you. Responding to God's call is a journey that requires preparation and discernment. Often, we may feel the urgency to change everything at once, but it is essential to act wisely. The Bible reminds us in Philippians 4:13, "I can do all things through Him who strengthens me." This passage encourages us to trust that, with God's strength, we are capable of facing any challenge and following the path He has prepared for us. Preparation for God's call does not mean just waiting for a sign or a drastic change in our lives. Instead, it involves an active process of self-discovery and development. The first step is to use the time you have in the current system to identify your gifts and talents. Ask yourself, what are the skills that God has given me? What do I truly love to do? These reflections are essential for understanding how you can serve God and others in a meaningful way. Developing your skills is a crucial part of this preparation. This may include pursuing formal education, courses, workshops, or even practicing activities that you already love. The important thing is to be willing to learn and grow. Each new skill acquired is a tool that God can use to fulfill His purpose in your life. Do not underestimate the value of continuous learning. It can open doors you never imagined. Do not allow the voices of the world to make you doubt your identity. Often, we are bombarded by messages that try to devalue us or make us feel inadequate. However, it is crucial to remember that your identity is not defined by the opinions of others, but by what God says about you. Declare with faith, "I am chosen." This affirmation is not just a recognition of who you are, but a commitment to live according to the calling that God has placed on your life. By sharing your journey and your identity with others, you connect with other chosen ones. This connection is powerful and can strengthen your walk. When you open up about your experiences, challenges, and victories, you inspire those around you to also embrace their divine identity. Together, you can support and encourage one another to stand firm in your convictions and to follow the path that God has laid out for each of you. Remember that, with God by your side, there is no challenge you cannot overcome. Life may present obstacles and difficulties, but the assurance that God is with you brings a peace that transcends circumstances. He is your strength and your refuge, and by trusting in Him, you become capable of facing any situation with courage and determination. You were born to shine, not to conform. Your light is needed in a world that often tries to extinguish hope and truth. By living according to your divine identity, you become a beacon of faith and love, showing others that it is possible to live fully and with purpose. If this message has spoken to you, do not hesitate to share it. Inspire others to recognize their identity in God and to join in the journey of faith. Declare your faith and continue steadfast in your walk. God has great plans for your life, and by trusting in Him and moving forward with courage, you become part of something greater. Your life can be the inspiration that someone needs to also awaken to their purpose. Therefore, embrace your divine identity and allow your light to shine brightly, impacting the world around you.